Okay, so lesson 3.4, lesson 3.4 is over parallel line proofs. This is actually like a massive lesson. If you actually keep flipping, there's like a bunch of pages of proofs. And then if you even keep flipping, you'll see like slope review and point slope form. Those are all, now don't freak out. Those are all things that theoretically are in this unit, but we just don't have time for them, and we really don't use them in this like time period. So if we need to touch on them later in the year, I'll just go back to these notes or something like that. But really, we don't need them, and so I kind of cut them out. So they're in your notebook, but it's okay that those are not being used, okay? We're going to look at parallel line proofs. We're going to do 4 proofs together, and they're very short proofs. There is 1 or 2 proofs, I think 2 proofs on your test. They are very short proofs. I'm talking like 3 lines and then 4 lines that you have to fill in. And then there are missing blanks in the different pieces. Really, the biggest thing you need to know for parallel line proofs is you need to know when you're using a reasoning that's just alternate interior angles and when you're using a reasoning that's alternate interior angles converse. Okay, so there is a difference between the two, and that's what we're going to talk about today. As long as you understand that going into the test, you should be fine. Cool? So the first proof says, given that angle 4 and angle 7 are supplementary, prove that J is parallel to K. So what is my first statement always going to be? My given. So I'm going to say angle 4 and angle 7 are supplementary. And my reason is given. What is always going to be my last statement? What I'm proving. So I'm proving that J is parallel to K. We can go ahead and write that. Okay? Always going to be your last row. So now we're looking at angle 4, maybe. Yep, there it is. Angle 4 and angle 7. It says angle 4 and angle 7 are supplementary. Well, I'm looking at them and I see that angle 4 is an obtuse angle and angle 7 is an acute angle. So they probably are supplementary because the only options with parallel lines is that they're supplementary or they're equal, right? But do 4 and 7 have a relationship? No, they do not. Okay, let's try to find a letter that has a relationship with 7. Okay. Oh, there's lots of them. I'm actually going to backtrack because I'm just going to tell you. But that's what our thought process is. But I have a specific one I want to pick. Yeah, so that the proof works out nice. That's why on your test you'll have filled in pieces that I have picked for you. Yes? There are a million different ways. But our thought process is, what is something that I can use with 7? Well, can I say that 6 and 7 have a relationship? Yes. 6 and 7 are what?
Linear pairs.
So they are, starts with an S. Supplementary. So what I'm going to mimic, and like I said, I know this because number 1, I have the key, but number 2, I just understand this a little bit more, hopefully, theoretically, than you guys do. We're going to try to match the same phrasing from number 1. So number 1 says that angle 4 and angle 7 are supplementary. So we are going to say angle 6 and angle 7 are supplementary. And our reasoning for that is that they are a linear pair. It is. It's really not bad. Now, they do get really complex, but we're not going to do any of the hard ones. We're going to keep it pretty chill. Cool? Okay. Now, I'm going to give you the next statement. I want you to try to figure out what the reason is. So the next statement is that angle 4 is congruent to angle 6. So look at steps 1 and 2. This is kind of a tough one. Step 1 says 4 and 7 are supplementary. Step 2 says 6 and 7 are supplementary. So step 3 says 4 and 6 are congruent. What does that feel like to you? Transitive. It feels like transitive, but transitive is with like equals, right? This is not with equals. Well, there was a theorem that we did last unit that was kind of like transitive, and we did it for complementary angles and for supplementary angles. Does anyone remember?
Congruent supplement theorem.
Good. Congruent supplement theorem. Congruent supplement theorem. That tells me if two angles are supplementary and two other angles are supplementary, but they share an angle, then I can say that the other two angles are congruent to each other. Now, anything that's on the 4 that we do is fair game on the test. I will not throw something random at you, okay? But anything that's on the notes is fair game, or the test review, okay? And then our last step, well, now we're looking at angle 4 and angle 6. Okay, angle 4 is congruent to angle 6. What kind of angle pair is that? Alternate interior angles. So we are going from, now this isn't an important notation. We are going from congruent sign to parallel sign. I would write that down. That means we're using the converse. Congruent sign to parallel sign means converse. So we are going to say as our reasoning, alternate interior angles converse. Let's look at what happens when we don't have a converse. Instead, we have just a normal definition, okay? Because we need to be able to tell the difference between the two. So let's look at number 2. Number 2, how many givens are there? 2. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. I like to write my givens separately. I like to see it that way better. So I have number 1 as A is parallel to B, and number 2 as angle 2 is congruent to angle 3. And those are both given. Okay, angle 2 is congruent to angle 3. Ooh, does that mean that this line is an angle bisector? Yes. It does. Totally off topic. Doesn't have anything to do with the proof, but good thing to notice. Okay? So angle 2 is congruent to angle 3. Now what we want to do is we want to find an angle pair that we can use. Okay, so I've got these parallel lines cut by 2 different transversals. They're cut by the red and by this one here that's green. Okay, looking at the red transversal, I see angles 1 and 2 and I take notice. What kind of angle pair are they? Alternate interior angles. So let's write those down because that is concrete. That's something we know. Alternate interior angles are congruent or supplementary? Congruent. So we're going to say angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. Now, here's the difference between converse and definition. In this one, in this proof, we went from parallel to congruent instead of from congruent to parallel. That means definition. So our reason is just going to be alternate interior angles. No converse. And then what is my last step going to be? What's the reason, the statement? Good. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 3 from my proof. And then, yes, very good. My last reason is transitive. I'm sorry. So let's talk about the difference between converse and no converse. A normal definition of alternate interior angles says these angles are congruent. Okay, so let's talk about the difference between converse and no converse. A normal definition says if P, then Q. If the lines are parallel, then alternate interior angles are congruent, right? So that is why the normal one in number 2 has if the lines are parallel, then the alternate interior angles are congruent. Does that make sense? The order. Versus the converse says if the alternate interior angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. Or in this case, so if the alternate interior angles are congruent, 4 and 6, then we can conclude the lines are parallel. That is why that one is the converse versus the regular. Yes? So number 3, we've got 3 statements, 3 reasons. What's the first statement? Given. Should you ever miss the first line of a proof? No. Should you ever miss the last statement? No. What is the last statement?
The answer.
Right, the proof. So angle 4 is congruent to angle 8.
Dude, you're underestimating.
I'm gonna need you to shut up.
All right, angle 1 and angle 7. What kind of angle pair are those? Alternate exterior angles. Are they supposed to be congruent? Yes. So can we conclude that line L is parallel to line M? Yes, line L is parallel to line M. And is it going to be the regular or the converse? The converse is going to be alternate, not interior, exterior angles converse. Now, the thing that's interesting here is that we proved that the lines are parallel in the middle, but then it says, okay, now that we've proven the lines are parallel, let me ask you about something else. So now that we know the lines are parallel, it's asking us about angle 4 and angle 8, and it says that they are congruent. What kind of angle pair are angle 4 and 8? Corresponding. Now, is it going to be a corresponding angles or corresponding angles converse? No converse, because we already proved that they're parallel. So we're going from parallel to congruent. So just corresponding angles.
On a test, can we abbreviate it like that, or do we have to actually write it all out?
Corresponding, I don't like to abbreviate, but all the other ones, yes, totally fine. Okay. Last one. Let's get it done before lunch. I have 3 statements. 3 reasons. What? What's my first? Huh? All right. What is my first statement? Hey, shh. I'm recording. What is my first statement? Given. Angle 5 and angle 8 are supplementary. Given. Okay, angle 5 and angle 8. Okay, what kind of angle pair are angle 5 and angle 8? Consecutive exterior. Are those supposed to be supplementary? Yes. So can I conclude that R is parallel to S? By what? Good. Consecutive exterior angles converse. Does that make sense? No, not yet. Sit your butockuses.
Oh, I get it now.
Now, what's my last statement? Angle 3 is congruent to angle 6 because, Because why? Angle 3 and angle 6. Converse or no Converse? No Converse. Okay, bye. The lunch bell was about to ring, so that's why third period got so crazy at the end of that. Make sure you finish watching this video and fill out the notes. Let me know if you have any questions.